Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of For What It's Nerd. Today, I thought we would discuss the new trailer for Fallout, the TV show. Now, for those unaware, or even for those who, are tangentially aware, I suppose, this is a series that is being created as a sort of I don't know how to word it specifically, but it's inspired by the games. It's inspired by the Fallout games. So there's a number of Fallout games for those unaware. There's about, I think there's Fallout 1, 2, 3, 4, New Vegas, and 76, and I could still be missing some. So like 6 entries into the game universe so far. And yeah, so this is something that's very interesting. It's weird because I actually didn't realize that this was coming up on us so quickly. I knew that this was kind of happening in the background, but then they kind of really hadn't said anything on it for a while. As far as I was concerned, I hadn't seen any news. And then the other day, I saw some promo stills, and I thought, "Oh wow, they're filming it They're filming it currently," and I was like, great, cool. I can't wait for that to come out. And then like 2 days, 2 days later from then, which is today, well, last night, they release a trailer, obviously, and an announcement for a date, which is April 12th next year. So the 12th of April next year, we'll be getting the release of the Fallout show. This is going to be on a Prime Video, which brilliant. I'm very excited about it. There's a lot of conversation around the trailer, and I will kind of talk about that first before I kind of discuss what I was interested in the trailer, what interested me in the trailer, should I say. And I would say first is that actually this show, I can't, from the trailer thus far, kind of tell what the plot is, and in fact, it doesn't really give much plot away. The one thing we do kind of get is that there is definitely a kind of there's definitely some kind of through line, because obviously there's numerous characters who kind of seem to be like recurring. It looks like they have a few places that you see them pop up in, and as well as that, it looks like there's a very much at the end of the trailer, there's like this moment that looks to show the world before these things happened. So or unless there's something else at work, I don't know, but it looks like there's definitely going to be like a past to present in this show. It's not going to be kind of how do I put it, sedimentary. It's not going to be split up and doing loads of different things. Saying that though, and one person in a comment section, I don't even know their name. That's my bad. I should have probably attributed the idea, I suppose. But someone was suggesting the idea that that this might be an anthology series at the same time. So, like, yes, it might have a through line, but it might be like 2 episodes for a given story or something like that. And they all kind of tie together in some kind of way, which I think would be pretty cool. And in fact, that leads me on to my main point about this show, because, we can go to other, adaptations, either whether that be movie or TV show of games. And I think generally speaking, you have to follow like the base plot, right? Like, for example, the one that's popping into my mind, but even though I haven't played these games, The Last of Us. The story of The Last of Us is about Joel and is it Ellie? That's their names, I think, right? I'm sorry if I'm getting those wrong. Like I say, I haven't played the games and I haven't watched the show, but the idea of what I'm trying to say is that even though I haven't done that, I know that the core idea has to be with those 2 characters, or the story that you want to tell doesn't work, right? With Fallout, it's a little bit different, because Fallout is a game where you create your own character and do your own thing. And the story isn't really there unless you make it, so to speak. Very much like Skyrim, right? So what I think is going to be interesting with this is that even though there's a through line in the games that you could go off, I think that Fallout as an adaptation of the brand can do 2 things. Either try and retell that story like other shows do, and but I'm not really for that. The reason being is I think what you have a really good opportunity to do with the Fallout show is focus on characters in another place, or even just at a different time, and expand the world of Fallout rather than kind of retreading old ground and making like a alternate reality Fallout. You know what I mean? Because that's what a lot of shows and movies do for games. They change it to a point where, for example, Halo, right? That's another one. Even though I've never really played the Halo games and I haven't watched the Halo show, I know that a lot of people are like, well, this doesn't really marry up with the universe as we know it, right? So and kind of the same with The Witcher. It happened the same way. And I know The Witcher was books first and then games and then a show. But again, same thing. They make this almost parallel universe. And I'm like, you can do things within that space that enrich the original, the games, right? I'm not saying that you can't. I'm not saying that you can't deviate, especially because sometimes I understand that the media is different, right? A show can last 10 episodes, so 10 hours generally, and a game will last. The smaller games will last generally twice that long. Any kind of larger story game. So it's a weird one, but I do think that's for something that's quite interesting to me, and I'm kind of hoping that they do something that's set in the same Fallout universe, but set differently, set in a different place or at a different time, or just that doesn't really interact with what has happened prior in that universe, without due necessity, or if it does connect, doesn't really tamper with the lore thus far. That's my preference, but I'm the kind of the person, like, as regards Star Wars, I don't like it when one of my books becomes kind of decanonized, so to speak, because of certain things that have been that have happened in like the new movie or the new book or whatever. That's really like something I don't really vibe with. So that's kind of like my preface to the actual trailer itself. Now, for the trailer, I will say, and again, this is something that someone picked up in a comment section when I was reading through, and I think it's so true. The Fallout world is so amazing because it has all this vibrancy and especially like the Vault tech suits and all that type of stuff. And then you have this this sand ridden wasteland world, and like all of these pops of color that are like all the signs and the Vault Boy and all that type of stuff. It just really it's just it's the perfect kind of dystopian retro futurism kind of thing, right? Where it's like you've got this 50s tech and these 50s diners and stuff like that, and then you've got this wasteland. It's just it's such a pop of color in this this place that otherwise would kind of be uninteresting, right? So that straight away, this trailer looked really visually stunning. And as well, I think what I really did like is that it feels like the game. I know I've just said all that stuff that could potentially be that it makes it feel like it's not the game, but I actually feel like when I was watching it, that the truth to me was that actually it was very much like the game. There was a lot of things that the monsters, the bears that have been infected, and you didn't see any Brahmin in this one necessarily, but I would be excited to see a two-headed cow, all those things that we all know from the games, right? But for example, seeing a ghoul and seeing that a ghoul is going to be a main character, and seeing a guy that was a cyclops as well, really cool, because I feel like you could have very easily, and this is what really stresses me out with these types of shows, is they will bleach any of the cool stuff out of or the peculiar stuff, and just have the most base ass boring ass characters. I'm trying to think of an example right now. It's not coming to me, but there's certain shows where you expect this character to be doing these certain things, or you expect Star Wars did this a lot in the newer stuff. They've just changed it to be completely humans in a lot of these not so much now. They're kind of coming back around to it, but it was, for a while it was just humans, and then one Wookiee and one one Mon Calamari. And it's it just didn't feel like Star Warsy that much because you'd taken all the aliens out, and it felt I didn't think about it until I watched it, but I thought that could have been the case here. But seeing this ghoul Lone Ranger style guy who looks like he's going to be very relevant, and then one of the admins in the vault being this Cyclops, and that you're going to see the I forgot they're called. Is it the super? the big guys. They're not ghouls. I can't remember their names now. Are they mutants? Is that right? I think that's right. I'm going to be honest. I enjoyed Fallout. I've played all the Fallouts to a degree. Well, I haven't played 1 and 2. That's a lie. But like the newer Fallouts, I've played to what varying degrees, and I do enjoy them. Super mutants. I think that's right. Right? I think that's right. And obviously, we didn't see any death claws either. But yeah. So like, aside from that, some of the creatures in the show looked really new as well. But like, I love that because I'm hoping that those inform the next game, or the next game already, or like ideas for the next game or concept art or whatever informed these new creatures that we see. Or oppositely, that like, how do you put it? Like that, like, it's okay to have a few things like that. Like, that's the things that you want to experiment with, right? Like, that's kind of like when Jurassic World came back and made new weird dinosaurs. And like, yeah, some people are like, well, that's not how gene splicing works. But like, that didn't change the mythos of the universe. Does that make sense? Like, it's kind of like, okay, you know, these things happen, these things are going on, but like this time we're doing this, and that's okay. Like, I think those are really cool ideas, and like, even if they created a new strain of humans that are affected by the radiation in a new way in the show or something like that, that's great. That stuff's cool. I want to be added to, though. I don't want to be taken away from, you know? So that's another point. As well, I just think that like, the Fallout world is so big, right? Because not even just, I mean, the thing is, we know that this happened globally, right? And don't get me wrong, I agree that Fallout should kind of really stay in the America continent, subcontinent, because that's kind of like where the 50s kind of motif really hits home. It wouldn't be the same really anywhere else. But like, you've got a whole world that you could potentially do something with, and I would be like, I feel like it'd be remiss to not have that kind of in there. But yeah, aside from all that, you know, seeing the that's one thing I need to say. Okay, this is important. I think the best thing that comes out of this is the fact that they've got like the Vault-Tec suits look great. I know I said that before, but I feel like that's very important to get hit home because they look really authentic. Like, literally, it looks like it's like a character stepped out of the game. And same with the power armor. The power armor looked really cool. There's a really great establishing shot where there's like 5 people in power armor walking forward, and it's like, oh, this is like amazing, because that's the power fantasy of Fallout. So it's really nice to see that hit the screen in a way that's satisfying. That's the same as seeing, you know, like any kind of armor suit up thing, right? It's like, it's that moment of like, oh, I recognize that very iconic armor, or that very iconic it's like if you think of like something like Mass Effect, for example, the N7 kind of armor, or again Halo, that I don't know what they call it specifically. I'm sorry, I haven't played Halo, but like that armor is very like, I know it even though I haven't played Halo, you know. And so it's like, that's the point, right? So like, seeing that iconic armor and seeing that kind of, all of these establishing things of what the Fallout universe is great, because like, you just know that, like, because we know that Todd Howard is working on this, and I'm not saying Todd Howard is like the be all end all, because, you know, there's a lot of issues with games that they've created, especially like, let's say Starfield, for example, or something like that. It's not like, you know, sometimes they don't make the most revolutionary of stories, but it's nice to know that someone is on board who is a creative who worked on the initial game, and so that's very exciting as well. And I think this one thing that really will help this show and really get the right tone for this show, is that the people who created The Boys are working on this show. That feels right, because it feels like that's kind of like the kind of like, brutality is the wrong word, but that kind of, I feel like for Fallout that's necessary, because, you know, you're dealing with wastelanders, you're dealing with people who are not carnivores, that's normal, cannibals, and stuff like that, right? And as well, this is one thing I do want to mention, and I know I keep bouncing back and forth, but I'm just remembering as I go. the humor. There was humor in this trailer, and like not like it was silly humor, but it was levity, and it was really nice. I liked that because I think there is that in Fallout as well. This Fallout can get this kind of like morose, morbid thing right, but then it can also have these kind of funny moments and these kind of more because of the kind of anachronistic world that's like existing and like that type of stuff, and like the music as well. This trailer had like hit that sweet spot right. Like the song, I don't remember the song right now, but like the song wasn't I don't want to set the world on fire, but it just instantly had me be reminded of that, and it made me feel like I was instantly in the Fallout universe. So that's just so exciting, and I'm really excited to see all the songs that are actually in the show, and I hope there's a few that are like from the games. That's one thing I would love to see. Like I mean, not to say those, obviously this isn't like a, oh guys look, they made the person from Fortnite real. Like that's not what I'm saying here. What I meant to say is like I hope they put some songs that were in the original games in this too, if that makes sense. I hope it does. But yeah, so I'm really excited for this show. I genuinely didn't know it was coming so soon, but it is. And when it comes, we'll be obviously, talking about it, reviewing it. Yeah, so if you guys are interested in the show, and if you've seen the trailer and you have thoughts on it, let me know. As always, guys, if you are enjoying this, please follow, like, subscribe, etc., whichever platform you are on. Do what you have available to you, and I shall see or speak to you next time. Bye, guys.